Well, top of the morning. Good morning, everyone. My friends, this morning I'm out again, and this is in the beautiful Stone Mountain Park. There is a 5 mile trail I'm going to attempt to walk all of it this morning. So I encourage you to come along with me and enjoy the walk. I'll highlight some of the on the way. I'll highlight whatever I see on the way, so you can see what this beautiful park is all about. So come along, enjoy the ride. Good morning. God is good all the time. So on my walking journey, I like to give a little bit of backstory of when I was growing up. See, I came from Jamaica. I grew up in a little place called Williamsfield, Montego Bay, Jamaica. It's about 5 or 6 miles out from the city of Montego Bay, but it's country. So I grew up in the country. My mom told me I was born in an area called Potosi, which is up in Johns Hall. So if any of you watching this, I'm your homeboy from Johns Hall. I was born in Potosi. And grew up with my grandmother in Williamsfield. When my father took me to my grandmother, he was busy working in Kingston, Jamaica. And they left me with my grandmother. So, just 1 second there. So I was with my grandmother for quite a bit, long time. And she took me to church, teach me all the things that I needed to learn about God and all that stuff, and took care of me and teach me to cook, all that stuff. I learned to cook when I was about 9 years old. Cook and clean and do all that stuff. So I had a very good growing up, background in domestic stuff in the house. And I used to go to a primary school called Salters Hill. That's where I started out. Then I moved to the Johns Hall all-age school. And I was always a good student, I think. I even skipped a couple grades. Yeah, I skipped 1 grade because I was pretty advanced in school. Love my books. And if I missed school 1 day, I would cry. I love school so much. Morning. And I was just wondering, why these kids nowadays don't like school. I mean, this is so much fun, learning. And I had a pleasure. I had fun learning. I was always open to new things. Love math. And so I went to John's all age, and then later on, moved to the Malden Secondary School, where I spent a number of years, and then graduated in around 1979. But growing up in Williamsfield was a trip. I mean, it didn't bother me because, that's all I knew when I was growing up, walking 5 to 6 miles to school. It's about right. About 5 miles, getting up in the morning early, 6 a.m. and hitting the road, graveled road, walking up to school. Sometimes could hardly see in the morning, We wake up early, take a shower, not the shower that you think of in America. We got cold shower, you know, and head on to school. My uniform was always nicely pressed. We didn't have electric iron and iron, so we used the iron with the coal, charcoal, and we, my grandmother made sure my uniform was really, really nice. So thank God for that. The one pair of shoes that I had, take it off whenever it's raining and walk with it in my hand because I wanted to preserve it so I could look good in school. Walk in the dark morning to school, and then, of course we'll meet other kids from the different community walking together, so we chit chat and pass the time till we get to school. And it was fun. I loved learning. Always a learner. Up until today, there's no limit for me to learn. Whatever I can learn, I learn. Yes, indeed. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. So that's what happened back then. Starting out in school, of course I mentioned went to Johns Hall, all age, and then moved to Marlin Secondary, where I studied, and it was pretty good. Loved that school. It prepared us for the world today. I mean, it's prestigious. We have an alumni today too. That is we have out. We try to help and give back to the school, and we are working hard on doing that. Right now, the school has computer and system, phones, cameras, and all that stuff that came through the alumni because we all got together and people donated and companies donated, and school is doing well. So it's a part of our giving back. God bless those teachers that really took care of us. They were very interested in teaching us, disciplining us. It's not like today where you go to school and you misbehave and teacher just put you out of class and don't care. Back then they discipline you, and you better not go home and tell your parents because then they're gonna deal with you too. So it was a riot. It kept us good. We grew up very well. Good morning. And we had fun learning, and we loved our teachers. I mean, some of them got on our nerves, but guess what? It was for the good. So, graduated from Malden Secondary School, and of course with distinction in mathematics. I love that. That subject was my favorite subject. I got kids today that hate math. I don't know, that thing just opened up my mind, make me think critically. It's an exercise. It's fun trying to figure things out. And when there's a challenge and I can't figure it out, math, I pretty much stick with the problem because I'm the type of person that don't think that anything should conquer me, you know what I mean? I need to get over that. So whatever my difficulties was, that's what I worked on harder so I could master it. And that's how it was with math. I loved it. So fast forward, graduated from there, then I went to what we could afford back then, Montego Bay Community College. Yes, I went there too. And I think I spent 1 year there, and my mom was in the U.S., of course. And, you know, she filed for us and brought us. My brother and my sister and I, we came to the U.S. and that's how I am here in the U.S. because I came by with my mom. But growing up in Jamaica, we had fun. You know, we had families that cared about us. I had an uncle that kept me straight, let me know that I need to go about my business and get home on time. If they send you to the store and you get back too late, watch out. So he kept me in line. Went to church every Saturday with my grandmother. That was exciting because they always have programs for the younger ones in the afternoon that I enjoyed to be a part of that. Back then they used to call it MVA. I don't even remember something. I don't remember what the acronym is anymore. It's just so old. But yeah, we used to enjoy that, singing and all that stuff. And came to the U.S. and furthered my education, got a job. You know, when I first came in the Brooklyn area, New York City, you know, and I had dreams. You know, my dreams were to be an accountant, but then I discovered computer back in the, I think it was, and then I started working in the 80s, and then about 89, 90, I discovered that I love computer because I started, you know, watching videos and watching stuff that talked about computer. And of course, it was in the early stage of PCs and all that stuff, so I got excited about that. And you know, I went to school, started studying because I knew that working in the factory, I think back then it was $3.85 per hour. I knew then that couldn't cut it for me for a long time, for a lifetime. So I said, hey, back to school is the game. Go learn something. And I went and studied. Of course, I got help because my parents couldn't afford it then, but my boss could. And he was interested in, you know, retaining good workers because I was a good worker from the get-go. Whatever position I got started in, I was good. I went from being a factory worker to becoming a group leader, you know, where I supervise a couple of people to work with. Morning. And I worked my way up through the company from being a line lead to becoming, you know, of course I frequent the office. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great walking is good for your health.
And that's what's going to end up happening.
Yes. So back then, you know, working in the factory, I used to frequent the office, you know, because I wanted to see why those people, you know, and they're making so much money, and what do I need to do to get there. So there was this guy named David Dax, Jewish guy, you know. He came from Israel and he was the director over everything, you know. So he came out to the factory one day and he saw me working and came around the year. Every year they have a yearly inventory in the factory. So he was looking for people who can count and he give a good accountability of what's on the floor and all that stuff. So I said, yeah, I'll help out. I always volunteer because you never know what volunteering can do. Lo and behold, the end of the inventory, most accurate counts and everything. Guess who did that? Keith, your boy right here. Accurate counting. He loved that. And he said to me one day, hey, how about you joining us in the office? Become like the inventory control person. I said, whoa, wait. That's when I started getting happy. I'm like, whoa, inventory control. Mark you, they didn't have any computer. They had like one PC, and that we used to use floppy disk and that. And everything had to be done manually. We had these cards that I had to start digging in inventory and start subtracting every time they do production, how much production they did of this item and all that stuff, and just keep on deducting. So the purchasing manager, which he was at the time the purchasing guy, he took that over too. He could get a good figure of how the inventory is going, how it's been reduced, what's left, and when he should order again. So I did that for a number. I think I spent about 3 to 4 years doing that work, and he was happy with me. So of course, fast forward, he had they did hire a purchasing manager because his job was getting too hectic, and the purchasing manager was there for a while too. I think he spent another good 2 years, and of course, when you get a job and you're into position, you got to be ethical about things. So he was unethical. They let him go. And guess what, guys? During that time, I also had bigger ambition, because even though I was an inventory manager there, I wanted to make more money. So I decided to take off and go find a job on Wall Street, because like I said, I was getting crazy about computer. And in the Wall Street, I was down there in one of those stock market broker, Ehrlich Bober, I think it was at the time. And I spent about 2 years down there too. And during that time, the 2 years, that's when they let the purchasing manager go at the company I was working for called Interdynamics. So when they let him go, my boss, who knew that I was very good with the inventory, gave me a call, and I came back. Morning. So I came back to work. He asked me to come back and be the purchasing manager. And by that, of course, fast forward, I've already been through school and doing all what I need to do to advance my life and earn better living, So there I took my job as a purchasing manager. And then, on top of that, even though I was a purchasing manager, they didn't replace the inventory control guy. So guess who was doing that too? I was doing that. And I worked my way. I work hard, going early, leave late, did all that work. And I'm telling you, it paid off, because I got tired of doing things manually. And of course, with the companies paying for me to advance my education in the computer field, I I did that. I went and learned computer networking, how to set up system, and I did the first system setup in the office where we could automate things. And I'm telling you, we also started using Excel. I learned that and how to automate the Excel to run the inventory, run the deductions of each parts, how many parts, how many units get used up and all that stuff. It was amazing. And, I spent the rest of my life in that company. 25 till I think it was, no, aside from the time that I left and went to work for other company, because I left that company twice and they did call me back again because everything started going crazy when I left. For about a year or two, I left, went to work for a consulting company, software company that deals with manufacturing, and it was a ERP system that they were using. So I consulted for a while in that and ended up used to work in Pennsylvania, and then I moved back to New York after a while too and got a job with Pitney Bowes as the area IT person, all of Westchester County for Pitney Bowes. And I was up there for a while too. But guess what? It wasn't challenging enough for me. I got bored, just traveling, going around to offices, from offices to offices, getting stuff installed, and then going back to the office and sit down and wait for another one to go. I just wasn't. It becomes routine. I didn't like it. So I when I got the call back to come back to IDQ into Dynamics, I took it up again. I went back, and of course that was a $30,000 increase in income on top of what I was making. So I took that. That's all you got to do. You have to take advantage of life, take advantage of education, learn all you can, because you become valuable to someone, and the knowledge is power. I learned everything that I could learn. I didn't back down from nothing, because you never know when it will be the thing that will keep you through life, financially free. You work hard and you build up your income and all that stuff, saving money, and prepare for life. You can't go through life, depending on others. You have to get yourself to the stage where you work hard and you'll see the benefits from it. Just like I'm walking today, I'm getting the benefit from it. Keep my health in check. Can't go wrong. So that's what I did. And I worked with that company for many, many years. And about 30, I believe it's when I ended up leaving. It was about 31 years that I had put in. So it's interesting. Right. And yep, so I stick with that, and when Interdynamics sold it, the company, the first time they sold it to, what they call company flipper. They buy companies and they hold it for 2 or 3 years, and then they flip it and make profit, and then they sell it to somebody else, of course. So I was there to all those company flips, you know. And I made some decisions in my life that, you know, when I reach a certain age, I don't want to be in the hustle and bustle anymore, you know. And I did plan that when I reach to 50 years old, I want to be semi-retired, doing what I want to do. And I tell you, God has a way to work things out. I think it was when I was 55, and the company sold the last time, you know, from all the traveling and everything. I was actually on in California when I got the news from my new boss that, hey, your position is not required anymore. You've got too many duplications from the acquisition of the company. So therefore, we are eliminating your position. I'm like, all right, see you in the office. Went back and worked another 6 months there, you know, because of course they wanted me to stay, even though they eliminated my positions. They wanted me to stay another 6 months to teach Hepper. They wanted to come and take, you know, to learn what I was doing. So I was there for a while, yet until the end came, and I was happy. I was a happy man. You know, of course, they so-called took care of me, and so I could go off with some money and things like that. And I was happy. And I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, I was actually had house, came down here and bought a house, and was still flying back and forth every Monday morning to work, jumping on the plane and coming home Thursday night, you know, away from the family a lot. But alright guys, this is the end of my journey. I did my 5 miles around, and now I'm heading into the car, and this is it. I'll catch up with you all later. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.